Hello, and welcome to the Totally Schway podcast, a podcast about the DCAU and whatever else I want to talk about. My name is Mary.
And I'm Luke.
And that's the introduction for the day.
Yep. You might still be able to hear it. I've still got a little bit of a cold. I've had it for like nearly 3 weeks now in various stages. That's why the last episode ended up being an interview with Randy Rogel that I had in my back pocket.
It's an amazing interview.
Oh, it was very nice of you to say. If you even
I'm talking about Randy.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. All right, fine. Yeah. But hopefully you enjoyed that. Randy talked quite a bit about his unmade Batman film that eventually became Sub-Zero, and how he tried to pitch it as a sequel, but it never really went anywhere, which is sad to hear. But he's got the outline for it written up somewhere. Apparently it's on a floppy disk. But he said he's probably going to have to just type it up again.
Oh, wow.
Floppy
disk.
I might pester him about that, actually. I mean, I don't want to be a pest, but, you know, we want to see it. We want to know what's going on.
Like, why not? I don't think you're being a pest. I just think it needs to be seen. Needs to see the light of day.
Yeah.
Well, the light of modern day, I should say. And anything on a floppy disk nowadays, there's a good chance that some of it might not even exist anymore.
Yes, that's right. So before we get on to the topic of the episode, just a couple of little things to talk about.
Okay.
So first of all, you might have seen on the community posts, the Dynamic Music Partners have released their first volume of the Batman Beyond soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you can buy it on Amazon and iTunes, if that's even a thing anymore. It was £7.99. So I don't know what that is in the US. Probably about $10.
I want to create a virtual juice bar. So we could all just go, like, you literally keep your feet on the ground and just occasionally move your hips back and forth the way they did in the juice bar.
I was going to say, dance like the guy in the Batman Beyond title sequence.
Yeah,
with
that's
his
exactly.
feet planted on the ground, but move your arms a lot.
Yeah, and a little bit of your hips. Yeah.
But yeah, the soundtrack's also available on YouTube for free and Spotify if you've got a Spotify account, so go and listen to that. It's really good. There's only one omission that has really upset me, like made me furious.
What's that?
So at the end of Meltdown, when Mr. Freeze kills himself, there's a little bit of like...
Spoilers.
It's 25 years old. Come on. There's a little bit of like electric guitar music that plays as the rubble comes collapsing on top of him.
Yeah.
It's not on there, and I want to ask Christopher Carter about it, but I don't want to bug him. So.
Well, we need to know the answer.
Yeah, we need that little bit of music.
Yeah.
Chris, if you're listening, hit us up. He's not listening.
All of the ways to hit us up are in the description below.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway. So listen to that on your streaming platform of choice. If you really want to support the Dynamic Music Partners and help them release more of their DCAU music, buy it as well, and that's what I've been doing. I bought a copy of it on Amazon and I've downloaded it and saved it on my external hard drives.
Great way to support.
Yep, and I've got it saved on my computers, and I also listen to the YouTube playlists as well.
I know.
Yeah, so Mary has to hear it in the other room.
I don't really hear it that often because he plays the music. For some reason, when he's in his office, I can almost hear every word that he says, right? But anything on his computer that's coming out, unless he's editing, I can't hear.
I think your ears are just trained to hear my voice, so anything else and you're just like, what's that? I don't know.
Probably.
Move on to my final bit of news. So Todd McFarlane has come back with more Batman the Animated Series figures. You'll remember, I want to say back in October, they announced that they were doing a Build-A-Figure line that came with the Condiment King if you bought all 4 figures, Batman, Robin, Scarecrow and Mr. Freeze.
Done.
Yep, so that was done. I got all of those. Thought, that's it, job done. Screw you, Todd McFarlane. Ha ha ha. Well, he's had the last laugh. He's released another wave. It's coming out in...
Nice phrasing.
Yeah, it's coming out early in, I want to say January, February, something like that. It consists of Blind as a Batman, and it's got a head with Bruce Wayne wearing that, I don't know what to call it, it's like a helmet with red eyes that helps him see while he's temporarily blinded.
Yeah. Commissioner
Gordon, the Joker in his grey trench coat and hat, and the Riddler. And the Build-A-Figure is Lockup.
Is it? Did you say that was a Target exclusive again?
Yes, yeah, they're all Target. Yeah. Most of the BTAS figures that Todd McFarlane's put out have been Target exclusives. So I have to resort to trickery to get my hands on them. Fortunately, I found a UK seller that has already got pre-orders up for them, so I've paid for it up front this time. All right.
Nice.
Give me that lock-up figure.
Every time Tom McFarlane of Spawn, by the way.
Tom McFarlane creator of Spawn. If you've ever watched Spawn, the animated series, that's the start of every episode.
Yeah.
It's like, have you ever seen a dog look up? Al Smith. What's his name? Al Simmons. Al Simmons has never seen a dog look up, but it might happen in this episode.
Yeah.
It's not a good Tom McFarlane impression.
I absolutely loved that. Not your impression, but
Oh, thanks.
but I loved his little intros, and I'm not making fun of him when I say this, but I'm like, this is Spawn, and I'm Tom McFarlane, and have you ever seen a cloud in the sky? But anyways, every time I hear Luke talk about the like a new Tom McFarlane figure or this one, I'm like, what is that money sound that they do in is it a Def Leppard song? Is it money? It's that one. I hear the beginning of that song and I just see no money. It's not really that bad, to be fair. No. I'm obviously joking, and he talks about a new set of figures or a series of figures. I'm like, money. Yeah.
And speaking of new figures, the final bit of news I wanted to share is that Mondo announced their next BTAS figure. So last year they did Harley Quinn, Man-Bat, and the Phantasm.
I've not heard this news, I don't think.
Oh, have you not? Okay. So Harley Quinn got shipped. Great. Man-Bat has been delayed. It's coming out in February now, I believe. Yeah, I know. And then Phantasm will be out shortly after that. But the next figure they're doing is Bane.
Oh, wait, no, I did know this news. Yes, I did. Because I follow Luke on Instagram.
What?
Yeah.
Speaking of Instagram, I did actually comment on Mondo's post announcing. Which figure was it? I can't remember. They announced a figure anyway. And I said that, obviously I'm going to buy this and I hope the line continues for a long time. And they hearted it and they responded with a salute. And they're asking people for suggestions for figures. And, obviously I said Two-Face, Clayface, Scarface, anyone with a face.
Speaking of Instagram, that's got to kind of go into what this podcast is about this week.
What's that got to do with Instagram?
I made Luke a lovely homemade calendar, our advent calendar, I should say. And he's been taking pictures of it every day this month, putting it on Instagram. I didn't ask him to do that, but he did. So what are your thoughts on the advent calendar?
Lots of chocolate so far.
Yeah. So originally I had other things ordered for it, but unfortunately, I hate that word. Zavi ran out of the stuff while they were packing my orders, so I was refunded and only sent one. And there was another company I ordered from. I think it's an independent comic shop here in the UK. I'm not going to say the name of it. I ordered 7 of them, and unfortunately, they also canceled my order and refunded me the money. So they were these mini, these blind bags of the black and white minifigures.
Batman Black and White.
Batman Black and White, yeah. And I ordered, I think in total, because there was 6 of them that you could collect, and I think I ordered 4. So I ordered 10 of them in total because I wanted to make sure there was a good chance that he would get them all, but he only ended up getting 1. Tell him which one it was.
I think it's the Patrick Gleason Batman.
Yeah, the one of him punching his hand. So the reason why I mentioned that first is because this episode is about our Christmas traditions.
Yeah. And how it relates to obviously the DCAU and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we live in the UK, so we're gonna have our Christmas dinner. We're gonna open our presents. I'm not gonna watch the royal speech because I don't think I've ever watched one. I might have caught a bit of one last year and begrudgingly.
I watch it.
Yeah, I know you do because you like the monarchy, but I don't.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So let's talk a little bit about our Christmas traditions, or Christmas Eve tradition. So on Christmas Eve, we watch Batman Returns because there is a very awesome scene in there where if you watch it at a certain point...
Well, I was going to say, we watch it because it's a Christmas movie, and anyone that says it
Yeah.
isn't is, I was going to swear then, is
A loser.
a buffoon, because
loser.
it's set during Christmas. The whole thing is Batman gets framed for murdering the Ice Princess when she's turning on the Christmas tree lights. And if you watch the movie at 50 seconds past 9:59 p.m, at the stroke of midnight, ushering in Christmas Day, you will hear Alfred say, "Merry Christmas, Master Wayne." If you've got Batman Returns this Christmas, put that on to 50 seconds past 9:59 and usher in Christmas Day in style by listening to the late Michael Gough say, "Merry Christmas, Master Wayne."
Oh, one of the best Alfreds.
Yeah, he's a very good Alfred.
Yeah. And on Christmas Day, we watch Christmas with the Joker.
Yeah, usually like first thing in the morning. Christmas with the Joker is a funny episode because it was written very early in the series' life, so it's kind of thematically not like the other episodes. It's much more almost like the Super Friends in a way, and like the Joker's got these big crazy schemes with loads of devices and technology, takes over a cannon or an observatory cannon, or whatever reason they've got a cannon at an observatory in Gotham City. And behind the scenes, the director, I think his name was Kent. Was it Kent Butterworth or was it Ken Butterworth? I remember Butterworth because of Brian Butterworth, the Peter Serafinowicz character. But anyway, he left the episode before it was finished, left the series as a director before the episode was finished, so they kind of had to scramble to get it all together. It's not a bad episode. It has some good moments in it. I particularly like Robin trying to get Batman to watch It's a Wonderful Life, and he says, I've never watched it because I just can't get past the title.
Hey, you've never watched it either.
No, I've never watched it, no. Because, again, I can't get past the title.
Oh, it's a wonderful movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm told it's a wonderful movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on Prime now, so maybe we'll watch it this year. I don't know.
We have been watching a lot of Christmas movies this year, haven't we?
We have, yes.
It's not like us to do that.
Yeah.
But was it last year, the year before, we did unconventional Christmas movies because we wrote them down. Like I wrote some and Luke wrote some, and we put it in a bowl, I think, and we would pick one out, and that was fun. But we're not really Christmas movie people. But this year, I have wanted to try to introduce a little bit more joy, or try to introduce a little bit more joy into the season. Because sometimes the season's not very happy for some people.
Yeah.
But I will tell you what, none of these movies, and I mean none of them, that we have watched, and I think we've watched maybe, 11? No, that's just me. You've watched at least 6 with me.
Do you count all of the Die Hard movies?
Yes.
Because they all take place at Christmas.
Yes, I'm not counting the ones we haven't watched, though.
Oh, I don't think Die Hard 4 takes place at Christmas, though, does it?
I don't remember. But,
Anyway.
yeah, at least 6 you've watched, but I've watched at least 11. None of them are as good as Batman Returns. In my humble opinion, that is correct.
Yeah, the thing I like about Batman Returns is it's very much like a dark fairy tale.
Yeah.
And it's kind of sleazy.
A little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the Penguin is sleazy.
Yeah.
He
You can't get
oozes.
around that.
Yeah. And I find it really funny that movie had a big deal signed with McDonald's for Happy Meals, and then once the movie came out, they were all horrified. Like the McDonald's executives were all horrified by this pervy movie that they were peddling towards children. So that kind of led to Tim Burton's downfall, I suppose, and Joel Schumacher was brought in to do something a bit more child-friendly.
They should have never done that.
No, they shouldn't have, but...
Sorry, Joel.
No, Joel Schumacher's an excellent filmmaker.
Yeah, but just not... In terms of, like, my favorite Batman movies, very low. And I'm not trying to be like, I don't like making fun of people because I don't really do that very often. But I would probably prefer the 60s Batman.
Well, it was trying to blend together Tim Burton with the 60s Batman.
Yeah.
Joel Schumacher, he was given that assignment. He understood it and he delivered it. I just think that the assignment itself was flawed. But
I'm not saying it's Joel's fault, but
nothing against him.
It was very camp.
He always took the blame for it as well. So if you've ever listened to the commentary on Batman and Robin, something that's really interesting. Sorry to get to a slight tangent again, but when they released the Batman movies on DVD, that as like 2-disc special editions with loads of special features, Batman and Batman Returns had loads of special features, loads of documentaries. They got Jack Nicholson back. They got Danny DeVito back to do interviews. Batman Forever, they got some interviews. So they got Chris O'Donnell and Val Kilmer to come back and talk about it. I think they reused some Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey interviews from elsewhere. Batman and Robin, only 2 people from the cast spoke about it. Joel Schumacher, technically not the cast, he's the crew, and Chris O'Donnell. And Joel Schumacher, bless his heart, said, I know a lot of Batman fans hate this movie. It's not George Clooney's fault. It's not Arnold Schwarzenegger's fault. It's my fault. Blame me. And it's not his fault at all.
No.
He did exactly what the studio asked him to do.
He understood the assignment.
Exactly. He did exactly what they wanted him to do. And it's them that was at fault, not him. And it's really funny, from the last episode, you may recall Randy Rogel saying that Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero was delayed by 1 year, a full calendar year, even though it was ready, because they didn't want the animated movie to outshine the feature film. I think I edited out the swears, but, Randy told me the guy was, the executive he spoke to was quite sweary, saying, don't mess around. Don't give us any S word. Your animated movie is being put aside so that people will focus on the Joel Schumacher movie, because it's the biggest investment we make every year, or every 2 years, I suppose. So that's quite interesting. But anyway, I mean, I don't hate Batman and Robin. I just don't think it's very good.
I could have done without the nipples.
Yeah, but I
think a lot of people could have.
They were in Batman Forever as well.
Yeah, but
they were kind of calling back to like the classical Greek statues.
Yeah,
and,
I guess.
I know why they did it. I understand the thought process, and I agree with you. They're not good.
DCAU. No, yeah, it's not. I don't blame him for any of that, because at the end of the day, it was the mid-90s, and the studios wanted what the studios wanted, and a lot of it was just wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about the Batman franchise. I'm just saying a lot of good, potentially good movies, good scripts turned into really, really bad movies that we talk about because they're so bad.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah, last year, was it last year you watched it with, like, your mom sat down and watched it with you?
Yeah, she did. She said, it's funny, in all these years, I've never watched this film all the way through. And then at the end of it, she went, oh, that was good.
We love Mom. I'm sure your dad sat and watched it with you.
Oh, yeah, my dad's seen
a lot.
It. My dad bought that on VHS for us the Christmas it came out. Mm-hmm. And so I would have been like 7 years old, and we sat down and watched it. Mm-hmm. Probably shouldn't have watched it at 7, but what are you going to do?
Don't even get me started. I think if your parents want you to watch something like that, that's fine, because it's... I don't think there's anything in that a 7-year-old does not hear on TikTok these days. So
yeah, but remember, TikTok wasn't around back then. We were much more sheltered.
Yeah,
I don't
you
know.
turned out great, though.
Well, you say that. Some of the comments I've got recently, people accusing me of being unwell. Saying I need to get a hobby.
He did have a cold for 3 weeks.
It's true, actually, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't think you're unwell anymore.
Well, I'm not.
And
100%.
What was the other thing they said?
This guy needs to get a hobby. I was like,
you have
what
a
if
hobby?
This is my hobby? What do I do?
Yes, this is your hobby. Maybe they should get a better hobby and not comment on something that gives them negative energy.
Very true, very true.
You know what I mean?
Yep, we don't all have to like the same things. Yeah. And if you don't like something, don't engage with it. That's the best way.
Okay, so what are some of the traditions that you had when you were younger? Did you always watch Batman Returns?
No, it's
No?
really something only we started doing, I don't know, more than 5 years ago, because we've watched it a bunch of times. But I just decided, you know what, we're going to make our own traditions.
Yeah.
Because I think, was it Christmas or was it New Year's? Like, my dad's side of the family always used to come over on either Christmas Eve. Yeah, it was Christmas Eve. They used to come over, and then we'd all just sit around and be miserable. So once we...
How very English.
Yeah, I know. But once we'd got our own place and everything was situated, I was like, right, I'm going to make my own traditions now and do whatever I want.
Yeah, I don't remember past the age of like 4 or 5 having like a big Christmas thing, because complicated family. Christmas wasn't a big deal in my 3-person household with my grandparents and myself, so we didn't really do anything other than they cooked dinner for the rest of the family, and sometimes they came over. So when I moved over here, like you said, making our own traditions and everything, and this seems like a really wholesome way to make our own traditions. I mean, that's not the only thing that we do. Like, I make cinnamon rolls around Christmas as well, because I like doing that. But yeah, this is a great way to ring in Christmas, but it's also one of those things where you could just sit down, you know what's going to happen in the movie. And yeah,
I don't know what to add to that, but yeah, I think I mean, you know, Batman Returns is like a snowy movie. There's something festive about Danny Elfman's theme in that in that film. I nearly said episode then. There's just something comforting about it, I suppose.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there are other Christmas episodes of the DCAU that
what's your favorite? You know what my favorite is.
Well, my favorite of the Christmassy ones?
Mm-hmm.
I think I will probably say Holiday Nights. I know what yours is going to be, but I'll say Holiday Nights is probably my favorite because it's an adaptation of a comic I really loved when I was a kid. I had a copy of the Batman Adventures Holiday Special, and I remember my grandma got me a load of tracing paper, and I would try to trace the cover, so much so that you can still see the indentations on my original copy of it.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah. And I just really liked I mean, I don't know if I like acknowledged this or had like full understanding of this as a kid, but the art on that special was drawn by people that worked on the animated series. So Bruce Timm did the Batgirl and Clayface one. Glenn Murakami did the Mr. Freeze story. Kevin Altieri and Dan Reber drew some of it as well. So it's nice for me to know them now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, but I think having those, like the actual artists from the show working on it, kind of made it feel more authentic in my mind. Because, I mean, not to say that the work of people like Ty Templeton and Mike Parobeck was inauthentic, it's not at all. Their Batman Adventures comics were excellent. But by actually having the people from the show come along and make this comic, just made it all the more special. And then they adapted most of it into Holiday Nights, and it was a fairly decent adaptation. But your favourite, Mary, I know what it is, but go ahead.
Why don't you tell me what my favourite one is?
It's I've Got Batman in My Basement.
No.
No, that's not a Christmas episode.
It's obviously it's the one with Martian Manhunter and
Comfort
Strikey.
and Joy.
Yeah, and Strikey. Yeah, I like. Well, again, I've used this word twice now. I like the fact that it's wholesome, but you know, it's a typical Christmas thing. You learn a lesson at the end of it, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say in terms of plot, not an awful lot happens, but it's not supposed to be about plot. It's about character development and relationship building. And the only thing is, you don't see Batman at Christmas. You see everybody else. No, you don't see Wonder Woman either, do you? Wonder Woman's not in that one very much.
No.
In fact, she might not even be in it at all.
I don't remember her being in it at all.
So, well, now we know why they didn't show it.
Because he was in the basement. Jokes, babes.
Yeah, that's
jokes.
when I've Got Batman in My Basement took place.
Yes, exactly.
That's the official timeline.
Yeah, I'm going to put that on their Twitter. Whatever. I don't have Twitter, so...
No, we got rid of Twitter, didn't we?
Yeah. So what other episodes are there that are quite Christmassy?
So there's A Bullet for Bullock. That one is very clearly set in the winter because it snows an awful lot.
Yeah.
Same with Cat Scratch Fever, but they're not
Cat
really
Scratch
particularly. Yeah, they're not particularly festive. Although I must say that the jazzy score for Bullock is just wonderful. And Christopher Carter, if you're listening, I know you're not, but if you are listening, for God's sake, get that episode score released soon, because
Please.
I may explode if we don't get it soon.
So this Christmas, what are your plans for this Christmas?
I've made no plans.
I should probably know that because I'm going to be doing the same thing. No, I think we're just going to go see family and then come back to our little family, which are the cats. So today's episode has been a little bit all over the place, but hey.
Yeah, what's new?
Exactly. I know Luke's getting over a cold as I sniffle. I had a little bit of the cold, I think, but it wasn't too bad. I was just exhausted because of work. So, do we have any questions from the last two podcasts?
We do. So let's move on.
The last podcast, you posted with Randy, but you didn't ask for questions or anything. So.
I did. I said
okay.
People would leave their questions and comments and we'd cover them in this episode. So
okay.
We're going to do episode 11 and 12 this time because
yes.
my voice was absolutely shot.
All right, so up first we have Zehanaut10, who has left a few comments here. Thank you, Zehanaut. Welcome back. The Kents in the DCAU and Smallville were far better than the DCEU, where Jonathan and Martha were selfish assholes. In Man of Steel, Jonathan told a young Clark he should have let the kids in a school bus die to hide his powers rather than save them. Then later walked into a tornado and told Clark not to save him. And Martha told him he didn't have to save the world and he didn't owe it anything. I mean, out of context, that sounds really funny. His dad just walked into a tornado. That'll show you. Next comment there was from Zehanaut also saying, Zeus is Diana's dad in some versions, and we all know what he's like. Yes, Randy Zeus, the terrible deity. Finally, Zehanaut says, unfortunately, the DC CW shows were only proper superhero shows in their first 2 seasons, and in Arrow's case, also its 5th. The rest of the time, they were bad romance dramas. All right, thanks for the comment there, Zehanaut. So, who's next? We have Defuxa Plays. I sort of feel the show did a better job sort of aligning where in a family structure heroes could fall, i.e. Hawkgirl is probably the eldest sister, Green Lantern is likely the eldest brother, Superman the second eldest male, Flash is the middle child, Wonder Woman is the youngest sister, Batman is the youngest brother, and Martian Manhunter is adopted. That likely isn't how it's portrayed in the show exactly, but it gives the general idea that they were going for, especially with Batman being the youngest. I look forward to a follow-up show on families since there are so many more to cover. A big one to touch on would be in Static Shock, since it's an African-American family that relates to the norm. Single parent, but is very distant from it. The father's present. I think that's kind of a bit of a stereotype there, actually. I know that there are a stereotype around African-Americans not having fathers present, and I think it is really good of this show to have Virgil's father be present and to be a kind and decent person. So I kind of get where you're coming from. Some minor ones would be the villains like Talia al Ghul, Terry from Batman Beyond, perhaps the Teen Titans, and of course Static Shock again with Gear's family. I'm sure I've missed some as well. Yeah, so not covering the families from Static Shock was a huge oversight on my part, and you're right to point it out. I don't really know what else to add on that.
SR Striker says...
Striker.
Well, he didn't forgive Professor Hamilton when he grabbed him by the neck, after all, so that's why he turned on him. I'm not entirely certain what that's in relation to. I assume he's talking about Superman. Moving on, so...
How are you doing, Striker, by the way? Don't know you very well. How are you doing?
Striker's always there in my premiere videos, so...
Yeah,
seems to be doing all right. Hopefully that is the case.
Yeah.
Michael Andre Parlon says, the Superman the Animated Series Alien Smallville episode is Season 3, Episode 10. In air date order, though it doesn't fit very well with the script, Unity. Okay, that's what that episode was called. The one that I said was probably my least favourite Superman episode. Jor-El would have been the one flying the Kryptonian ship, so to bring the people into Earth or some other habitable world. Come to think of it, why didn't the Kryptonians even invest much on mass space travel in so many DC universes? On a funny, unconnected side note, Jor-El and Superman's come Batman Beyond voice actor Christopher McDonald is known as the love-to-hate Kent Mansley from The Iron Giant and the jerkish Daryl Dickinson from Thelma and Louise. Didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
Won't lie, you won't believe how many foundlings are adopted across all of America, so Kal-El Clark Kent getting certificates is an easy way. It's easy. Sorry, it's way... So Clark Kent getting certificates is way easy if demanding.
Yeah.
If only Martha Wayne got the same notable character exposure as her husband Thomas. Mm-hmm. He gets his posthumous spotlights in Nothing to Fear and Paging the Crime Doctor, which is mentioned in this podcast, while she appears to not have any, woefully. Don't fret on not watching TTG. What's TTG? The only thing I can think of is Teen Titans Go, and I watch that religiously.
Wait, we're talking about the Iron Giant?
No.
Oh.
No, I can't remember what we were referring to, sorry. Indeed, I'll call such luck envious. Now I'm trying to figure out what was TTG.
But I'm going to make Luke watch the Iron Giant one day.
Yeah, oh, you won't have to make me do it. I'll be happy to watch it.
Vin Diesel.
Man's World brings into mind Disney canon for Star Wars, hence my personal preference of Alt Universe, since canon is nigh in multiversal in-universe terms. Dennis Farina, notable in Get Shorty and Midnight Run as far as I know, played Ted Grant and Wildcat in JLU if one's curious. He was also in Snatch. God, I love that leg-breaking scene from The Dark Knight. Very nasty. For Eric Roberts, I mean.
You remember when we had that Eric Roberts podcast?
That never happened. I highly recommend Runaway Train, same for Bullet Train 1975, not to be confused with the 2022 Bullet Train, which I heard is surprisingly good. Rotten Tomatoes be darned. We watched that in the cinema, so yeah, that was enjoyable. A podcast on the likes of voice acting should be in order. Would love to hear thoughts on Adrienne Barbeau, Diane Pershing, Lorne Lester, Clancy Brown, Ron Perlman, Michael Ironside, Michael Rosenbaum, Phil Lamar, Carl Lumley, Maria Canales Barrera, and so on, alongside Andrea Romano's directing chops with and for them. One day, I would love to get a hold of Andrea Romano and just have a chat with her.
No, I'm sorry. I would be the one doing most of the talking, and then
just
afterwards...
be going, Andrea!
And then afterwards, I would just cry.
For another DCAU, there's the Disney Channel Animated Universe, which is basically a current non-existent entity in my eyes. and only just pretentious fan speak, okay. What I would give for a Batman Beyond costume or even a Superman Beyond. Capeless costumes are more my style. So he's referring to what costumes we'd have made for us if we did cosplay.
Yeah.
She thought Calabac was simply killed and cloned in Father's Day. Nice to hear a mention of Splinter Cell's Sam Fisher, big fan of the first game in Chaos Theory. Speaking of Darkseid and his family, shame we didn't get to see Mr. Miracle interact with the bad adopted dad in the DCAU. You laugh at Michael Darkseid. I take notes on, forgive me if I'm wrong, Mary S. Mears. P.I. Stalker, anyone? Personal information, he knows your middle name. Well, it's technically not your middle name, you've got a double barrel first name.
So that's where you're wrong. Get a better P.I. No, it's in my Twitter. Not my Twitter, my Instagram. So yeah.
I still value... This is a long comment, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
I still value animation and voice acting more over live action chops. Sorry, Guy Gal, who mentions Kevin Conroy being admittedly good at the Crisis on Infinite Earth saga. Even Legends of Galactic Heroes and Universal Century Gundam from 00799 up to Turn A isn't that especially long compared to the DCCW verse. Would also recommend those to you guys and gals. I was wrong, the DW trick part, sorry about that. Next to find a video on the Serum Lake channel. I don't know. Oh, Darkwing Duck. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah, so no one tricked Kevin. He gladly did it.
Oh, yeah. He loved it. You could tell that he, like, especially in person, it's how his voice, like, kind of, like, went up a little tiny bit when the person asked him. It was lovely.
Interesting how you guys didn't talk about the trailer for the animated Crisis on Infinite Earths, which I'm surprised is going to be a trilogy. Looks like I was pretty wrong again, with it being a single film, which is a relief. Yeah, I mean, they've shown a brief trailer for it, like a minute or so long, and it looks fine.
I haven't seen it.
No. Well, they didn't... There's still time for them to have cameos from other universes, and if they had, say, George Newbern's Superman in there, then I would have mentioned it. But they didn't show that, so... Yeah. And just to finish off the comment, never be ashamed of being adults who adore cartoons, Mary and Company, and go ahead with the Mary doll video, Mary.
Oh, I'm working on it. It is because I've been working a bit more than usual. I think I'm about halfway finished writing it because I don't want to... It's a very, very great character to talk about, but it can be tricky in points. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to end up saying the wrong thing. So I am doing something that Luke does, which is not writing a script, but I'm writing down points to talk about.
I write scripts.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you do write scripts. I'm just saying I'm not doing that. I'm just writing down points. Yeah.
Moving on to RDP 16 rules. Hello.
Hey!
Says, hey, Luke and Mary, how are you doing today? Tickly throat, actually. Doing an hour-long podcast is probably not a good idea, but oh well.
Physically, I'm okay. Mentally, bit of a struggle, but we'll get over it.
Well, maybe this will cheer you up a bit. Thanks again for answering my questions. I am excited to see Mary's upcoming video. Baby Doll is such a fascinating character. Although Luke's video about her was brilliant, I will be very interested in seeing a video about her from a woman's perspective. I don't know why I did that voice, but I just did. I really enjoy seeing the episode about DC families. Batman is my favourite hero, so any discussion about his past or the Bat family is a welcome one. Even discussing his other found family, the Justice League, is bound to be a good time. As far as his place in the Justice League family, I see Batman as the eldest brother. He covers many of the costs involved in keeping the team together and often acts as a mediator between arguing members. That is, unless he is also in the argument.
Then he wins.
I feel similarly. Yeah, there's no arguing with Batman. You just do what he says.
See, Luke likes to think he's probably that, but then he's married to me, which I just...
It's constant arguing.
It's like, but what's going on right now? Luke!
That said, we've got to discuss one of my favourite Superman episodes for the man who has everything, even if it was... Well, technically, this is a Justice League Unlimited episode, but Superman-centric. That's probably what you meant. I was being pedantic. I apologise. Even if it was just a dream, seeing what Superman's life would have been like on Krypton is such a lovely concept. It sucks that he was forced to leave it due to dangerous means that were employed to show him that scenario. The moment that he has to say goodbye to his wife and son, dreamed up by that parasite, felt as real as any farewell he gives Lois at the Doomsday fight. At least he has his cousin and the AI reconstruction of his parents. As far as DCAU families we didn't get to see, I kind of wish that Green Arrow and Black Canary were explored more. Sure, there's a whole series based on those characters, but I think that the characters in Justice League Unlimited were strong enough to warrant a few more episodes. Even though they are two people, that is a family that is worth seeing on screen. At least both characters got plenty of time to shine in the series. And
I would have liked to have seen that as well.
Well, here's a fun fact. If it wasn't for Warner Brothers' edict that Batgirl and Robin had to be in every episode of the new Batman Adventures, they would have done an episode with the Birds of Prey and Catwoman. But the script was refused because, first of all, I don't think Batman was in it, and Robin wasn't in it either. So there's an answer to someone who left a comment going, what's wrong with Batgirl and Robin? Nothing's wrong with them, but mandating that they be in every episode limits the kind of stories you can tell.
Yeah. It's just what goes best in Happy Meals, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's true. It is very true.
And now for some hashtag Totally Schway questions.
Hey.
So I'm a huge wrestling fan that has been watching since the early 90s. Recently, the annual Survivor Series was held, a 5-on-5 contest set to one fall. If you were to draft 5 heroes and villains from all the DCAU, who would you want to see face off? For the men, I'd like Batman, Nightwing, Aquaman, Green Lantern and Superman versus Lex Luthor, Bizarro, Bane, Gorilla Grodd and Sinestro. For the women, Wonder Woman, Zatanna, Hawkgirl, Supergirl and Harley Quinn versus Granny Goodness and her Furies. Note that you can say any 5 heroes and villains. I just want to list more people. So I'm going to say, obviously, Batman. Terry McGinnis Batman. Mm-hmm. That's 2.
Yeah. Wait, can we do sidekicks as well?
Yeah, you
even
can
if
do
they're
any,
not
yeah.
actual like superheroes.
Yeah, you can include any DC characters. I'm going to chuck in Alfred for the mix.
But that's not the one I was going to pick.
Yeah, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern that you see in Justice League versus the Fatal Five, but has never been in a proper episode because I want to just see him. And let's say Batwoman. So I'm going to do a mixed gender team there. Mm-hmm. That was very Batman-centric with Hal Jordan chucked in just because he's never used. And then on the opposite side, I will say Bane, obviously, because in Batman the Animated Series, he's very much a luchador.
Really?
We're going to go Bane. I'm going to say the Parasite, because anytime he touches someone, he drains their energy. Oh, that's going to be hard in a wrestling match. Blight, because his touch is poisonous. Mr. Freeze, because his touch is freezing. And, well, I suppose technically it would be, but he'd be wearing his suit. But anyway, you get the point. And let's go Volcana for the women's side. So she's got an elemental fire power there.
It's my turn?
Yeah.
Max.
Okay. from Batman Beyond.
Yeah. Wonder Woman, obviously. Hot Girl, obviously. Jon Stewart. And I know everybody wants me to say Flash, but I'm not going to say Flash. Martian Manhunter.
Okay.
For the bad guys, I would say, because I really, really want to see Max and Harley Quinn in a fight.
Okay.
Obviously, Poison Ivy. Catwoman. I guess I need to put in somebody with powers, other than Ivy has powers. Let's see.
We probably should have read these questions before recording.
Let's see. I'm trying to think because I want to do a really, really good one. Granny Goodness. I think Granny Goodness, because I always say Gilly Goodness, but yeah. And Man Bat.
I was going to suggest Woof, the splicer hyena from Batman Beyond.
No, I hate him.
Oh, you hate him?
Don't want to look at him.
Fair enough.
Not because of the way he looks, just bleh.
Fair enough.
Bleh.
So Man Bat. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's answered that question.
But Max, definitely. I think Max would win the tournament. Good night. You see her walk in. She drops the mic. She's like, okay, she accepts the award. She walks off stage. Done. The belt. Excuse me. The belt.
I don't think there are any titles on the line in a 5-way. But anyway.
Well, if Max was in there, she'd just
take it.
Yeah.
Like, give me that Bane.
And Terry's looking like this, like, you better do it. Bruce is there with his cane, like, do you want me to say anything? I'll buy this Federation. Oh, it's not Federation anymore.
No, but the reference landed.
Okay.
Okay, so next question. Do you have any plans to discuss Injustice, the games, comics, and/or movie in any capacity? Maybe a potential video down the line.
We don't talk about Injustice in this household anymore.
Why not? Oh, you didn't... I used to play the mobile game a lot.
Oh my God.
It annoyed her a lot because she'd
So
just hear me
much.
tapping on the iPad
Yeah, it was so annoying.
to build up the attacks. I'll tell you a funny story about the Injustice mobile game.
Oh, is this about why you stopped playing it?
Yes, yeah.
Ugh, okay.
So it launched as a single-player game, and I played it a lot. I only spent like £10 on it in the whole lifetime of the game, so that's not very much money.
But millions in time.
Oh yeah, hundreds of hours surely, because I'd worked out a system for powering up my weaker cards. So I had a bunch of gold level cards, and I would have them be like the leader of the group. You can pick 3 characters to play as, and they're in color tiers: gold, bronze, silver. So I'd have a powerful gold one, and I'd have 2 weaker ones with them. And then by winning all the fights as the powerful gold character, those weaker characters would earn a whole bunch of XP, becoming more powerful characters. Then they could lead their own teams with other weaker cards. And I basically had a whole rotation where I could play for about 6 hours in a row without having to wait until everyone recharged, because I had so many good characters. Then when they launched the multiplayer mode, I put together my team of my 3 best cards, which I think were Red Sun, Superman, one of the Wonder Women, or Wonder Womans, I don't know, Wonder Women, and a Batman character. They were all gold tier, all fully maxed out. And I won my first fight and immediately got suspended. And it said, we think you've been hacking the game because your cards are too good. and I just stopped playing. I raised a support ticket with Warner Brothers to get the account unsuspended, but they never did anything with it. And I was just like, all right, fine, then I'm not going to play it anymore. But anyway, that's the mobile game, not the...
Yeah, I have nothing
games.
against the actual game itself, because it's actually quite a good game. But it's just, I would wake up, because at the time I would work a lot of nights, and all I would hear was this. And that was just like, shut up!
I was winning battles.
And it was like at 6 o'clock in the morning.
I had to win some battles before I went to work. Be efficient.
Well, I'm a morning person, but at that point, when I had, probably only got to sleep like a couple hours before then, I was just like, shut up!
But in terms of like the console games,
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, they're very good. I platinumed Injustice 2. That was broadly speaking, it was a very easy platinum to get, because most of the trophies were just perform this character's super move. But there was one where you had to get a specific randomly generated unlock for Catwoman to perform a move that I think involved ISIS, if I remember rightly. The cat, I mean. And it took a long time to randomly get that. But yeah, I probably won't talk about the Injustice games very much because I tend to try and steer away from the video games because I work in the games industry, and I don't want to say something that might upset someone I know. So
yeah, and I don't really play games like that because I'm not good at them. I'm really not good at games like Mortal Kombat, Injustice, Street Fighter, stuff like that. I get very annoyed.
But I had a very good Batman in Injustice 2. Anyway, so thanks for your questions. RDP 16 rules.
Love you.
Yeah, let's move on. Zemox has returned.
Zem.
This was the most heartwarming episode you've ever produced. Kevin playing Darkwing Duck is something I did not know I needed to see, but now I want to see it as soon as possible. Well, I hope you found it. Thanks for answering my question on Shayera. Considering her story arc in Justice League, her family either being dead or alive, and shunning her are two highly plausible scenarios. Shayera is arguably the most tragic character in the DCAU who isn't Batman.
I agree.
An essay on her would be great to watch. Yeah, so I probably will end up getting to her eventually. I watched the Jim Gordon video and it was very fascinating. I often forget that Jim can be a flawed character, even if some people want him to be perfect, but no one is truly perfect. I still wish BTAS gave him a proper solo episode. I agree entirely.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah. Captain Al says, how has this been up for 10 days before I saw it? Glad I finally found this. Well, you've outed yourself as a fake fan. I can't believe it.
I don't believe that. Sometimes I don't watch things for a while.
No, it's fine. You don't have to watch it.
Especially from Serum Lake. I mean, sometimes I'll wait a couple of days before watching them because I've probably heard them already.
Okay, those are all the comments from episode 11, so now let's just quickly go through 12 because I realise we're kind of overrunning a little bit. Wait a minute. Zehanaut, he's left a comment again.
Hey!
Yeah.
Again, we love you.
So in reference to the original movie idea that Randy brought up, the original Bane idea sounds like the DCAU adaptation of Nightfall. Yeah, it does a little bit, yeah. Absolutely. Moving on, David Carney. Hello, David Carney. Haven't heard from you in a while. Nice to see you again.
Very southern there.
Really enjoyed listening to Randy Rogel. For me, Heart of Ice is one of the best stories, whether it's in animation, film, or comics. Hope you both start to feel better soon. For the next episode, I just wanted to wish you both and everyone listening a happy Christmas and a happy New Year.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That's very kind.
2024 is going to be one of the best years of my life, and I'll tell you why in a little bit.
You can say it now if you want.
Oh, so I've been a fan of The Killers since I can remember, probably since 2004. And I've always wanted to go to one of their concerts, but I am a very anxious person when it comes to being around a lot of people, especially, like thousands of people. And I've only been to a few concerts in my time. And sometimes they can be really expensive. And when I was younger, I just really couldn't afford it. But I bought tickets to see The Killers on, I'm not going to tell you the date yet because it'll be awesome when I get to do it. But I'm very excited about that. And I just really want this next year to be amazing. And I really want to try to do things that will make it amazing. And I'm not just saying that have to be like spectacular things. They don't have to be, but I just don't want to rot in the house anymore.
Words to live by. So next comment, Michael Andre Palin again. Hello again. Figures that we must become hit with ailments before Yuletide comes. Yeah, it is the season, isn't it? 'Tis the season to have germs. Tra-la-la-la-la-la-la-la. Haven't seen a DCAU fan who hasn't watched Sub-Zero yet, let alone deem it as non-canon for some reason. Well, if you look in my Mr. Freeze video, there will be some people in there that have said that they don't think it's canon. So the closest we ever got to a badass Bane in the DCAU has to be in the TNBA's Over the Edge, or more especially Batman Mystery of the Batwoman. Kind of a waste, really, but it's at least better than nothing. Yeah, I'd say the thing that Over the Edge has got going against it is it was a dream, whereas Mystery of the Batwoman took place. So yeah, I'd rather prefer Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon to be like brother and sister if I had my way with the DC stuff. Seen enough romantic couples as it is, and less platonic honorary siblings. I'm now of the opinion that Sub-Zero should be watched after Batman the Animated Series is done, and before Superman the Animated Series. Either way, July 15th, 1997 should have been a better release date for that flick. What with TMBA's Cold Comfort suddenly being released before Sub-Zero, because of what we got. Which really would have confused fans and average viewers back then. Yes, it was very confusing, and it's all the Warner Brothers executives' fault. At least the execs knew shame with the rough spots of the Schumacher films. Nowadays, the likes of, say, Disney don't give a damn with obvious duds like Mulan and Kim Possible remakes, and slow cringe of the books of Boba Fett and Obi-Wan Kenobi. If it were me, I would have begged to disown them completely, and in the case of Star Wars Alt Universe works, maybe even redo them or something else. I have to say that I didn't mind Obi-Wan Kenobi. Books of Boba Fett got better as it went along, but, you know, different people enjoy different things.
Wait, the Mulan movie came out already?
I don't know. I don't think it has.
Okay. I didn't know it came out already. It must have been that good.
I don't think it has.
I was kind of looking forward to watching it.
You can still watch it, and you may very well enjoy it, and that's fine.
No, I'm not saying... the thing is, I totally see where you're coming from, but I think the execs, they've... You know, it's kind of like with parents when they get their second child and their third child. They start to kind of just, like, ease a little bit. And they're like, you know what? Let them make their own mistakes. Do you know what I mean? That's the best way I could describe, Warner Brothers execs, Disney execs, Netflix execs, all of them now, rather than, you know, having the McDonald's Happy Meal bits. They're just like, oh, hey, we've got that subscription money.
So just to continue Michael's comment, can defo agree that the 90s is when animation, especially on the Western and Japanese front, started to leave a huge, irreversible mark on the mass media?
Word.
I would probably point the finger at the 80s with He-Man and stuff like that, but take your point. Batgirl being deemed a rank amateur brings into mind her story arc for Season 3 of The Batman, 2004. I really sympathise with Dan I Can't Draw Criff Reba. Is that his name now? I'm going to ask him that. Dan, show me your passport. Sure, I too can't draw figures and all, not even a darn perfect circle, but at least I can brainstorm story concepts, plan out fitting aesthetics, and look up nice historical and world-building trivia for genius bonuses for the viewers and the fandom. Really miss the rubber suit kaijus and all the hordes of live-action war movie extras, the same way we miss traditional animation cinematics films on Disney's part. Such a preference for the older methods can make one hope for an anti-CGI dependency crash, or some entertainment industry calamity with so many silver linings. Won't lie though, the Blair Witch Project is really hard to rewatch lately, not because it's terrible, it's just that we've seen so many similar and sometimes far better works than it. Cloverfield is a great example. And there's the fact that it has gotten parodied way too well and way too much. Scary Movie, anyone. It is to indie and found footage films what Wolfenstein 3D is to the first-person shooter genre of video games. Well then, here's hoping the DCAU is still deemed a masterful saga for the next 5 centuries and so on, even when far better successors show up in the interim. Captain Alces says, sorry you're both battling sickness and technical issues, but we still appreciate this interview. Best wishes to you both. That story about Bane sounds interesting, although I remember watching the identity reveal we got and being surprised. I really thought they'd shared their secret identities long before, just off screen. They were so intertwined at the time. How did neither of them find out? Yeah, well, sometimes you just can't see things that are right under your nose. No matter how hard you look, sometimes the best way to find something is to just stop looking.
I still haven't found those keys. I should probably go look for them again.
Oh, Xenonot left another comment saying, the people behind the live-action Warner Brothers stuff must have been pissed when Sub-Zero ended up a better film than Batman and Robin. Well, what should they expect? They should know the caliber of the people working on the animated stuff. And the last comment we have here is from a new name that I don't recognise, so hello to you.
Welcome.
Christina Mickelwain says, Genius Randy Rogel. Randy Rogel is a Renaissance man. There's very few things he can't do. And we are blessed to know him.
I agree.
All right, so that was it. That was all the comments and the questions from the last 2 episodes. Thank you for your patience. All that's left to do now is to briefly talk about what we're going to do in the next episode in 2 weeks' time. I'm not going to give you the exact topic because I'm going to make a little announcement in my Christmas Day video about what the next big topic I'm covering is. I mean, it'll be obvious to people that know the DCAU very well, but
I just did my pop socket and got the phone. I was like, "You're not telling me what our next podcast is about."
I told you before we recorded.
I forgot.
Well, let's put it this way. This will probably give it away, but there is a very special anniversary coming up, and I'm going to do a lot of content about that.
Our 14th wedding anniversary?
Yes, specifically that, yes. But yeah, anyway, anything else you want to say, Mary?
Thank you so much for listening, and we appreciate everything. Thank you so much for listening today or tonight, whatever it is.
Whatever now is.
Yeah, whenever. Thank you for the comments, and thank you just for being there and just for being you. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm going to say this again, and I'll probably say it over and over. I really appreciate being able to talk about things with like-minded people that actually understand what I'm talking about. And I just wanted to say that I appreciate you guys, and you're wonderful. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I suppose the last thing to say is Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Whatever holidays you celebrate, even if you don't celebrate any right now, I hope your festive period is full of joy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to close out the podcast with a recording from a special someone that wants to wish us all Happy Christmas.
I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman. But this is a night of a different sort. Holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It is the night of our dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error pining, till he appeared and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope, a weary soul rejoices, for yonder breaks a new and glorious morn. Fall on your knees, oh, hear the angel voices, oh, night divine, oh, night when Christ was born. Oh, night divine, oh, night that Christ was born. Merry Christmas, everybody.